Thank you, Dr. Meenu, for making me a part of this instruction course. Dr. Meenu has been my teacher. Actually, in this course, Dr. Meenu, Dr. Venkatesh, both are my teachers and mentors during my days in Arvind, and whatever I learned is from them. So, coming to the topic on toning down the mature and black cataracts, and no financial disclosures to be disclosed. So, what are the challenges one sees when we are doing this black and hard cataracts? There's a poor visibility of the anterior capsule. There's a paucity of the epinuclear layer, which is not there. The posterior capsule is very fragile. The chances of PCR and nucleus drops are quite high. The zonules are quite relaxed, and there is a longer phaco time at high energy levels. There is a risk of corneal endothelial damage, and there is the risk of mechanical or thermal injury to the iris and the cornea itself. So usually these conditions are associated with ocular and systemic comorbidities like deep-seated eyes, compromised corneas, and poor dilating pupils. So many patients with these mature and dark cataracts are systemically unhealthy, and they also have a very poor anesthetic risk. So coming to the preoperative evaluation to help and plan intraoperatively, consider the following points. Look at the endothelial cell count, look at the antechamber depth, what's the zonal stability, look for the pupillary dilatation, do a B scan if the fundus is not visible, and do a immersion biometry, which is a must. So coming to the few videos on how we are going to handle this cataract basically. So the dictum is generally I stain both my side ports and the both my side ports and the anterior capsule with the help of trypan blue. And most of the time these cataracts are mature. They can be intumescent. They are hard cataracts. So what I do is I try to shape my rhexis depending on the type of cataract I'm encountering. So you either make a large rhexis or make a short rhexis. And when you use a sharp chopper, you can use a horizontal chopper or a sharp tip vertical chopper. Always retract the sleeve posteriorly. You saw I was demonstrating that at least 5.5 to 2 millimeters of the phaco tip should be exposed. And whatever technique you are familiar with, go ahead with it. So this is a stop and chop technique. And when you saw that the central trench was being made, so once the central trench is being made, you make sure that each and every leathery fiber they are separated. So you saw this was a very long sharp chopper. It's almost about 1.5 millimeter. So the sleeve is retracted, all the loose cortex is aspirated. The rhexis is a bit small because it was an intumescent cataract. I didn't want the rhexis to get away. So once a small rhexis is fashioned, now I'm going to emulsify the cataract. And you can see that the chopper is such a sharp chopper. I'm going for a direct chop. So the trick is you get a good hold. Get a good hold, lift the cataract towards the center a bit, and then try to chop. Sometimes the hole might be loose. Don't worry, you can do multi-level chopping. You can see these all leathery fibers which are nicely attached. You have to make sure that they separate. You might not be able to separate throughout from one half to the other half, but try to do multiple choppings. You can see what I'm doing is I'm doing a multiple stop chop, multiple direct chop. So multiple small quadrants are created. There might be a central nucleus, but then don't worry, you can then emulsify the central nucleus later end. So what you aimed at is you should have the all fibers separated. All the pieces should be separated from one another, and then once they are separated, and then it will be easier. Sometimes you can just emulsify one of the quadrants so that you have enough space for the phaco tip to be phaco probe to be there into the capsular bag and go ahead with the cataract surgery. So this was the way this type of cataract is managed. Also going to demonstrate the other way. So how do you do it? You just do chop, trip, and free technique. Now, how do you do it? You can see on the right hand side the slow motion video which I'm showing. The cataract is not so hard, only the central nucleus is hard. But for demonstration purpose, I'm showing that you just after dividing the quadrants into small pieces, you hold one of the piece, lift it towards the center, take a sharp phaco chopper behind this piece, and try to separate that adhesions what is there. You have to be very careful when you are doing this. You can take an horizontal chopper, go behind this piece, and try to separate the adhesions. This is the chip, trip, and free technique. So once this piece is freed, then you can emulsify it very easily. So this is very essential. Sometimes, I mean, there's no one technique which is going to suit all. You have to change your technique intraoperatively depending on the type of leathery fibers you're going to encounter. So coming to the next part was a hypermature cataract with these calcified capsules. You can see this is two cases of a hypermature cataract. But what is important is the staining of the anterior capsule is very important. Whatever the loose liquefied cortex comes, you aspirate it, use a high density viscoelastic substance, and you can inject this viscoelastic into the capsular bag also. So by doing that, you maintain the capsular bag inflated, and then you can do a gentle rhexis. When you're doing the rhexis, make sure that you support the nucleus below your rhexis, below the capsule where you're proceeding with the rhexis. So that gives like a fulcrum to proceed with the rhexis. Now, as I told you earlier also, that I always stain the side ports. The reason I stain the side ports, how do I stain it? Once you put the tryptophan blue dye from one side port, you try to wash the dye through the other side ports. So whatever the dye leaks out from the entry chamber through the side ports, they will give some staining to the side port, and that will help you in your cases. So once the capsular rhexis is done, then you can do a solute chop. You can see in this how the solute chop is being done. You can go with the direct chop or a solute chop. Solute chop, you just put a visco behind the nucleus, above the nucleus, inflate the bag, and then you can see that the phaco probe is introduced now. You need a sharp chopper. You have to retract the sleeve, and throughout the procedure, whenever there was a few air bubbles had come up, so you just engage this space, make the nucleus vertical, and in one go you can crack through and through. You should have a nice hold. To get a hold, other thing is the infinity users. I'm an infinity user, but when you want to get a direct good hold, what I use is I use the longitudinal phaco and not the torsional phaco. With that, I get a very good hold, so I can chop clearly. And in this type of cases, you can see that the rhexis is small because I don't want to take any chance. Once the IOL is injected, you can refashion the rhexis to the desired size and shape. So any type of mature cataract, you can make a small rhexis so that you don't get away. You don't want the rhexis to get away. Emulsify the cataract, and then you can inject the IOL and then refashion the capsular rhexis to the desired size and shape. So for this, the trick is you need both the micro rhexis, the micro vanas, and you should be used with both the right hand and the left hand as well. So this is the way I'm going to handle. So this hypermature cataract, that is a solute chop which I discussed, wash carefully for the last steps. Usually in these hard cataracts, some pieces are there behind the side port or behind the phaco probe. So sometimes what happens is after you have injected the IOL, when you're doing the visco wash, suddenly you will see these pieces floating from the side, below the side port or from the sulcus. So you have to be very vigilant that you do a proper irrigation so that none of the pieces which are there behind the sulcus or anything come out. This is the last video which I'm going to show. So the staining of the capsule, as I told you, is very important. Whenever you are proceeding with your phaco, you don't want any wound burn. This is very, very important. This was a very hard cataract, mature hard cataract. I was doing with the proceeding with my phaco, but my assistant forgot to put a chill saline constantly on the tunnel. So when you don't do that, then what happens is you land up with corneal burn. So this is what happened in this particular case. You can see this fish mouthing of the tunnel which is there. And then you can see the leakage also. Why this leakage is there? Because of the fish mouthing. So whenever you have a fish mouthing, please suture the tunnel. Don't leave it like that only. And how you're going to avoid the fish mouthing? By using proper energy settings and by putting cold chill BSS on the phaco probe. So the last tips I have already told you all. Be prepared for iris hooks, capsular hooks, and also whenever you want to convert, you should be able to convert to SICS also. So the 10 commandments for toning down the mature and black cataract: use tryptophan blue to stain the capsule, aspirate the liquefied cortex if any, size the rhexis according to the type of the cataract, and then refashion it after implanting the IOL. Use longer and sharper chopper to facilitate embedding the dense nucleus without displacing it. Retract the irrigation sleeve by 1.8 to 2 millimeter. Alter the angle of the vertical chop slightly and approach the embedded phaco probe diagonally, phaco piece diagonally. Transect leathery fibers at the posterior layer with the chopper. Divide the nucleus into smaller fragments to emulsify them securely. Use viscoat to maximize endothelial protection or a dispersive OVD behind the last remaining fragment to create artificial nucleus. Thank you.